Take advantage of the Boxing King media discount at BYD Sheffield. You can get this amazing car for £269 per month with a £269 deposit. Details in the description.
Boxing King Media powered by BYD. Mr. Gareth A. Davies. It's Thursday morning. Gareth, you're looking lit up like you're on like a photo shoot or something.
It's the way we roll, baby. I've been up since 7 doing talk sport, swimming, cycling, feeding my birds, and I've caught you. I think you've just got out of bed, apparently.
You've been doing your hair as well.
No, that's just from swimming.
Is it all right? It looks like it's been professionally done.
No, it's a mess, is what it is.
This is one for me. You strike me as somebody that goes to a hairdresser's and probably spends like £200 on a haircut.
No, it's about 60 quid, and I've had the same Japanese hairstylist for about 20 years. Maki, her name is. She's great. She's cut my hair for a long time. She's a good mate of mine.
There you go. See, we find out something new about Gareth.
It needs a cut, though. You're right. It needs a cut.
That's it. So, but before we jump into the boxing, a lot of big news this week. I've got some questions from the fans I never got a chance to ask you the last
Oh
couple of
yeah,
times.
go on then. Come on, let's do
Uh,
it.
so, because there's so many in the previous interviews, I've never like gone into them, so I've just been digging some funny ones out.
I've
So,
taken my glasses off till there's one I won't answer.
all right, okay. So there's only one or two bad ones, but we'll do them all. So, it's boxing and beards again. I think he's asked before. He said, if I had to predict what Gareth A. Davis would be doing on New Year's Eve, I would have to guess that he's probably playing Scrabble with the local bowling club while searching videos on YouTube of Tyson Fury's previous fights. Then during the night, he will probably go onto the step near the paddock and smoke a large joint while saying, several times.
Well, absolutely correct. There we go. Move on.
Is that what a New Year's Eve party looks like for Gareth?
No, I went to bed early and I went clubbing on New Year's Day, believe it or not.
All right, okay. This is from Motorbikes and Things. Man's a slime ball. You can't answer quick fire questions and a big RIM. You're gonna have to answer that one.
Well, I'm very disappointed in motorbikes and co because I've been a biker all my life as well, and stuff him. That's what I say. Stuff him.
Okay.
No
Uh,
slime ball.
this one. Don't care what any keyboard warriors say. Gareth is low-key eccentric boxing legend. And just like Adam Smith used to get all the shit online, the minute he disappears, we missed him and his contribution to the sport. Same for Gareth. Trust me, the boxing world is far more entertaining with Gareth and his kooky antics. Put some respect on his name.
That's a very kind comment. That's very kind. And like you say, everyone missed Adam when he was gone, and now they're delighted he's back. Hopefully, I don't go missing. But no, it's a very very nice comment. Thank you very much. I'm a genuine person, authentic in my love and passion for fight sports and the industry, and it will always remain so. When I haven't got it anymore, I will go and do something else. But
Okay,
I've got a huge passion for the sport, as you know, like you do.
indeed. Lightning bolts. I'm not sure if I've done this one before, but the only thing that bothers me about Gareth is that he doesn't dress age appropriate.
Well, I don't even know what age appropriate is. I mean, he doesn't even know how old I am. And age appropriate, it's about style. I mean, what a weird thing to say. What is age appropriate? Like if I was in like the casual clothes you wear, would I be age appropriate either? I mean, I think I'm sorry, it's the misappropriation of culture and style there.
There you go. Last one. Is it true Gareth demands his staff to wake him up in the morning with face tickles?
Correct. That's that's brilliant.
That is brilliant. You've got a weird and funny fan base, Gareth.
Oh dear.
Face tickle. That really made me chuckle. Uh, right.
Okay, from the sublime to the ridiculous, or from the ridiculous to the sublime.
Yep. Let's go in. Massive news yesterday. TKO boxing. Turkey Al Sheikh announces a groundbreaking deal. We've been hearing rumors about this for probably a
Yeah,
year, that Dana White's
yeah,
going to come into boxing, but no one knew how, when, or why. And this has
yeah.
just come out of nowhere. So
Well, I
is
don't think it's come out of nowhere, but it's finally made concrete. Yeah.
Okay, so just tell us initially what do you think's going on? Because we've seen His Excellency Dana White and Sella, who they do all the organizing of the events. They basically plan, do all the structure around the events, and make sure everything's running smoothly for all the fighters and people that attend them and the fans. So what does this actually mean? Does this mean they've set up a promotional company to rival with Matchroom, Queensbury, and they're gonna have their own set of fighters, or they're gonna work alongside them? That's the bit.
I think you can take away the word to rival them because I don't think it's set up to deliberately go against them. But what Turkey Al Sheikh, it's the biggest shift we've seen so far in the 18 months that Turkey Al Sheikh's been involved. Um, I've been very transparent about this now. I and you might have been aware of this as well. I was fortunate to be in some top level meetings with Turkey Al Sheikh at the very beginning, before Battle of the Baddest, in which he said, "I want to create a known champion in every weight division. I want to return boxing to what it was 50 years ago, and I want it to be fighter and fan first. I want to revolutionise the sport. I want to have divisions. I want to have leagues." So he's got to that point, and he's decided, and it's the biggest, biggest shift we've seen so far. It's very multifaceted. It's very layered. And by far the most powerful man in boxing, Turkey Al Sheikh, is joining forces with the most powerful promoter in MMA. And Dana White's a boxing guy at the beginning. It's a mandate. This is my top line on it, and I've repeated it a few times. It's the mandate from Turkey for Dana White to radically change boxing as the head man. So Dana White's been saying for 10 years he wanted to get back into boxing. White, as I say, started as a boxing guy. The TKO Group Holdings owns both the UFC and the WWE. They're worth 12 billion. Nick Khan has been talking with Turkey Al Sheikh for a year, and I think introduced the two men. And they've been in talks. And Dana White has proven that he's not part of the old school. He's part of the new school. He wants the best to fight the best. We know that, but my view is they will use the Ring Magazine rankings. They'll use the Ring Magazine belt. It spells a difficult period for the four sanctioning bodies, although the WBC has obviously been inculcated in this 5-event Grand Prix in Riyadh. And they're going to be running it 4 different weight divisions. That's probably a test and a promotional test for the WBC. My feeling, and I don't know the ins and outs of this because no one's speaking yet, and I know that George and Frank Warren are over in America. No doubt they'll have meetings with Turkey, and no doubt Eddie Hearn will. They can't have not known any of this was coming because they are quite close to him and they work with him all the time. We were only out there 2 weeks ago. But I think my view, and it's only my view, is that having seen him get everyone work together piece by piece, I think he's going to get everyone to work together with Dana White at this top level as well. And I think they will all work under the umbrella of Turkey Al Sheikh, Ring Magazine and Sella. I think DAZN will still carry on with Oscar and Queensbury and Matchroom. I think they'll be, and remember, this is only the top tier they're talking about in the weight division. They're top, so everyone's going to cooperate together around that. The top 20 fighters in the world. There's still going to be medium events. There's still going to be. You look on BoxRec for Friday and Saturday. There'll be 90 events around the world. It's not going to stop boxing happening around the world. Boxing was happening before Turkey Al Sheikh came along 18 months ago, and it'll happen after he's gone, when and if he goes from the sport. Ring Magazine was around 102 years ago. All it is a revolution right now in the way things are going to be delivered. Hopefully for the better. Whether it works or not, we don't know. But what I think Turkey's chosen is a guy who in the last 25 years with the Fertitta brothers, who bought the UFC for $2 million, dollars have turned it into $1 billion industry by creating the right ingredients, the right rudiments around. Let's get the best fighting the best from all around the world, and the fans will come. And I think that's what they're doing with the boxing. If you choose, I did this with someone else earlier, Boxing King Media. If you go to the 4 sanctioning bodies right now, the main sanctioning bodies, and look at their top 15 in the world, you've got 25 different characters there from the from in different algorithms. Like Moser Tauma's number 2 with one of the sanctioning bodies at the moment. Fabio Wardley's number 1. That's not right. The Ring magazine rankings are the ones that are right. Usyk at the top, Fury at 2, Dubois at 3, Parker at 4, Caballel at 5, Joshua's at 6, Zhang's at 7, Bakoli's at 8, all that way round. You've got Hrgovic at 9, and I think F.A. Jagba at 10. Fabio Wardley deserves a place in there somewhere, in my view, as well. But they'll use the Ring magazine ratings. And again, full disclosure, I'm on the panel of the Ring magazine ratings. So, and there's lots of discussion between a very large group of very experienced people from around the world who cover the sport, write about the sport, and watch the sport day in, day out, and have done it for a long time, some for a short time, some for a very long time, a diverse group of opinions. That's where they'll base, I think, their opinions on. Years ago, I was on the UFC panel rankings. It was too much hassle for me at the time. I was too busy. So I wasn't on it in the end. And when you work on TV sometimes, you don't want to be ranking fighters because it doesn't help you. But I think there's a way of putting the best against the best. So we know, for example, that if Dubois pulls out against Usyk and Fury's still in abeyance or in retirement, Joseph Parker fights Usyk. Or if he's not available, Ajit Caballel fights Parker and Parker fights Dubois. And that's how they'll do it. And if you win, it's snakes and ladders. And I think it will probably work. As how it works for the middle tier events, I think they'll bring, like Dana White's Contender Series is a way of people getting on the UFC at the moment. He's got his own Contender Series. So I think they'll do that with boxing.
Got a question for you within that, from everything you're saying. So the last Crescendo card.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense what you're saying, but the last Crescendo card to me is what you're saying is that the best fight in the best. So why would they not just continue having the Ring magazine events like that, for example? But why do they need Dana White?
I think Turki Al-Sheikh is trying to shift it onto someone that's going to be innovative, that's not part of the old school. Whatever you say, he's not choosing the old school in boxing to do it. He wants a revolution. He says it will crush everything else, to quote him, in a couple of years. They're saying they're not going to roll this out to 2026 until 2026. And yet, I watched a video, maybe early this morning, with Dana White and Turki Al-Sheikh together, where Turki Al-Sheikh is urging Dana White to get involved straight away by September, which I think is the Canelo fight. So he's decided clearly that Dana White he wants as the head man. I think all the other promoters will work with him. They can't manage and promote boxers, if you recall, in America, because that breaks the Muhammad Ali Act. And without going into all the legal ramifications that have gone on recently with the fighters taking Dana White to court because they said they've lost earnings through all the gear was Reebok. A guy called Gary, I forget his name now. He was the CEO at Manchester City.
I don't know if that was going to be my next question.
I forget his surname right now. Apologies, Gary. I've known him for many years. But he did a Reebok deal for the UFC. Maybe I want to say maybe 7, 8, 9 years ago. And what that meant was all the fighters in the UFC suddenly had to wear Reebok gear, so they couldn't wear their own sponsors. So there was a loss of earnings for them there. I think they're going to have to work through all these different things. Boxing is a lot looser than UFC, but ultimately, this will challenge the fabric of what boxing has been doing for 160 years and what the different sanctioning bodies have been doing for 40, 50 years. I think it will create more genuine competition ultimately, but I think Netflix are going to get involved, Amazon Prime, the traditional broadcasters are going to have their say in it. I think there will be more competition, but I think there will be the. I think Dana White's going to be running that top tier of it. And whether the other promoters, the Queensberries, the Matchrooms, the Boxers, the top ranks, the De La Hoyas, the Golden Boys work with him, it remains to be seen. Look, he doesn't have a relationship with Oscar De La Hoya. Um, it's one of the things I'd love to see Oscar De La Hoya and Dana White together on Joe Rogan's podcast.
Well,
Um,
one of the other things, Paulie Malignaggi, I don't know if you've seen it. He put a video out the other day on his channel, and he's quite how shall I put it? He went in on Dana White, basically saying similar to what you said there about these cases where fighters are suing him for loss of earnings, not getting paid enough. I quote what he said. He said Francis Ngannou was getting as a main event pay-per-view headline $600,000 a fight, nowhere near what probably what the event's generating. So so his basically argument was why is somebody who's coming with a bad reputation with fighters being allowed to kind of lead the way for this new
there's a
product?
different algorithm in the payment structure for UFC, for MMA fighters, than there is for boxing. Now, the most important thing is that they make events sustainable and that they make profit from events because then everyone can be paid. I don't know if it's going to be, it's a business deal, of course, between Turkey and TKO, whatever they're going to be called in terms of a boxing organisation. Maybe they are going to be called TKO, but what's important is that it's sustainable and that fighters can be paid. I think it will probably be a different formula to what it is in MMA. MMA is a different sport, remember, and so they get paid win bonuses in MMA. Remember, they get paid um, very much based on market profitability, on their own marketability, on a meritocracy in marketing terms. Whether this is, I look, Turkey Al Sheikh, it can be deemed as being ruthless, but very, very successful, very zealous, and very driven. Um, but he's been extraordinarily successful in the sport so far. He's also has the wealth to be able to control the sport. Um, People might even call him Machiavellian. I'm not calling him that here. I think he's chosen a very deep decision, and I think he's chosen Dana White because Dana White is almost like a neutral body coming into the sport. I think that one of the biggest risks for um, the existing powers that be in sport are for the sanctioning bodies. They're the ones who might be in a very difficult position. But I do like this idea of leagues for fighters, top 10, top 20 in the world, top 5 in the world fighting for the belt. And right now, Turkey Al Sheikh and Dana White are the two most powerful individual figures in combat sports. And I think them coming together will benefit fighters and the fans in the long term. It won't be overnight because there'll be a lot of teething issues. There'll be things to work through. They've just signed the agreement, and so they have agreed to work together. They won't have worked everything out yet, but it's going to be a fascinating time.
It definitely is, mate. Let's see what happens as more news breaks on that. Just a last quick mention: Matchroom have got a press conference on Friday. Rumors are Johnny Fisher, Dave Allen, and Dalton Smith. Credit where it's due, because a lot of people said Johnny would not fight Dave Allen again, and clearly he is. I know you've got a big role in that fight, but it's happening.
I hope I'm there at the press conference on the top table. Me and Big John.
You
Let's
coming?
get it on, Big John. Let's talk it out. Well, if I'm there, I will hopefully on Friday for the press conference. Where is it? Oh, next Friday, you mean?
It's this Friday.
Well, I haven't been invited to it yet. Well, then maybe that's why they're running scared. They can run, but they can't hide. I'll be there.
Let me just check, unless I've got my dates completely wrong. I'm pretty sure it's tomorrow. Um, But yeah, let's have a look. Conference this Friday. Yeah, this Friday. Yeah, it's tomorrow.
Maybe I haven't looked at my emails yet because I've been busy
Yeah,
this
they only
morning.
sent the email out yesterday. So yeah, that's it, Gareth. I just wanted to speak about this new TKO venture. See where it's gonna lead to. But yeah, let's see. I don't think it's gonna happen overnight. But by the looks of it, Crawford Canelo might be their first event. So let's see how things unfold. Thank you very much.
Lovely. Here we go. Yeah, I have got it. Uh,
I don't. It's not open to the public, so you can't. I'd have to dig
East
it out.
London tomorrow.
Right.
I'll be there. I'll be
Okay.
there.
Gareth,
Okay.
thank you for your time, mate, and I'll see you tomorrow.
I'll see you there, and maybe you can get me and Big John Fisher together. How about that?
Yeah, I'm gonna try.
Listen, I got a question for you. Where can discipline take you? Discipline points you toward your goals.